Hey, Travis, as the season gets set to start tonight and you can look back on training camp and the whole process, just your thoughts on how quickly the team had to come together here and where you set your expectations as you get set to start the season.
Yeah, it was a short camp, much like we've talked about. The whole league's gone through it. It's been the same for everyone. And, but I can say that everyone's excited to play. I think our guys have been sharp the last few days and as ready to go as we can be.
Who's your goaltender tonight?
I've never announced a starting goalie, but you know
that. Next up is Farhan Lalji.
Travis, I know as last year when you were, Travis, I know that as the year progressed last year, you were pretty comfortable deploying Pettersson in that top line against some other teams' number one lines. There was that Islander game late in the year and then more in the playoffs. With Jake now on that line, does it affect how you choose to deploy that group?
Well, first of all, I didn't say Jake was on that line. He skated there yesterday. We might see some different combinations as the night goes on. They've skated with Miller the whole camp, and I might put different guys in there to get a look at it. But as far as that line and who we match them up against, first of all, we're the road team. They're going to get last change. Obviously, there's ways that you can try to match up on the road that we do try to do. And but yeah, I talked about Petey yesterday and being comfortable with him and Bess, for that matter, playing against top players in the league. I think they've both progressed to the point now where they can do it. They showed it in the bubble. And when you play against Edmonton, though, it's a little bit different animal. When you're playing against McDavid and Draisaitl, it's two of the best in the league and in the world. So it's always a challenge when you play this team, but our guys that are excited to play tonight.
How about the challenges of not having JT in the lineup? You had him for every game last year. You generally had pretty good health up front other than that period of time with Brock. How tough is it to be without JT tonight?
Yeah, he's a big hole. It's no secret what he means to our group, but it's not something that we're going to talk about or dwell on. Hopefully he's back as soon as he can. And but when someone goes out of the lineup, it's opportunity for someone else, and we're confident in our group.
Next up is Ben Cruz.
Hey, Travis, about the only normal thing in Edmonton today, I believe it's snowing, which is about the only normalcy. With Ben and Miller being COVID compromised, Travis, I'm just wondering, as a coach, do you have to say anything to your players to maintain focus? I'm sure that shouldn't be a problem with the season opener tonight, but is it a little different in terms of as a coach? You obviously have a game plan for the Oilers, but there's really not really a game plan for a virus that's kind of running rampant.
What's the question, Kuz? Is there anything different that I'm going to say to our team tonight?
To players at all about maintaining focus with COVID being such a prevalent...
We talk about focus and being adaptable all the time.
Right.
We got two players that aren't available tonight, and that happens a lot. These guys are used to players not being in the lineup, and things happen. And like I said, we've got 20-something players in there that we're confident with, and whoever's playing tonight is expected to play their best. We're not overanalyzing things. Do we take COVID seriously? Yeah, 100% we do.
Thank you, Travis.
Okay.
Next up is Thomas Drance.
Travis, over the last 3 seasons going into this year anyway, you've had first-year players come in and make a massive impact. Obviously, you tend to bristle when people ask you to set expectations for your first-year players, but clearly the benchmark's been set pretty high here. What do you want to see from guys like Juolevi and Höglander?
Well, I think you nailed it there. There's been some pretty good players come through here the last few years, and I'm not comparing. I don't compare any of them at all. I don't compare Besser to Petey or Petey to Huggy, and I'm not going to do that with these two young guys that are going to get to play their first game tonight. Each player is his own player. He's his own man. And I do try to taper expectations. I think the biggest thing for me is go out and have fun and play your best game. Play with energy, play with passion, and we'll figure out the rest as we go. We don't have to worry about anything other than how they look tonight, how they play tonight. And for us, we don't want to put extra pressure on these young guys. Just play your best hockey, and everything else will take care of itself.
And Travis, we know you don't disclose your starter on game days, but for those of us unable to travel to Edmonton, would you be comfortable disclosing which of your goaltenders was first off and who remained on the ice to rinse your extras?
No, I wouldn't.
Worth a shot.
Yeah.
Next up is Joey Kenward.
Hi, Travis. With this being the first game of the season after being just around your team for practices and scrimmages, how eager are you to be able to get into game day mode? It's been a long time for you and your staff and your players.
Yeah, it is. You can feel it today. You know, it's game day. It's all business. To a point, we still have a little fun in the morning with our guys, but yeah, it's game day. It's what you play for. It's what you coach for. The best part of playing is the games. The best part of coaching is the games, and it's nice to be back for sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
And with the last question for Travis is Jay Janauer.
Travis, can you bring us up to date or give us some clarification on how the last 48 hours played out with Jordy, Ben, and JT Miller? We saw JT on the ice on Monday. We didn't see him yesterday. How did that all play out?
Just like you said it, they were on the ice. He was on the ice. He wasn't. And that's about as much as I'm going to say. They're unavailable to play. The league will talk about anything else that is to do with COVID. And as of now, those two players are unavailable to play.
Okay, last question. Your taxi squad, it's nice to see some of the young names that you named to it. Did you have any difficult decisions? And when you thought about the composition, what were you thinking about with your taxi squad, Travis?
It was a little bit of a combination of getting some young guys in there, but also some players that can play. You know, this is, at the end of the day, we're trying to win hockey games and develop players at the same time. I think Michaelis has had a really solid camp. Kind of surprised us. You know, it wouldn't surprise me to see him play games this year. Again, you'd like to have, with a player like that, you'd like to have got some exhibition games under your belt just to see him in that scenario. But he's a pretty focused kid, hasn't had really any bad days in camp, which is not the norm. And yeah, so we took it, you know, seriously. We didn't just pick the players at the drop of a hat. We took a lot of time to decide, and we're happy with the guys we picked.